welcome back to another episode of Timeless Wisdom, Modern Mind. I am your host, Sam Esquivel. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, share, or just leave me a comment that these wisdom episodes are helping you. And I just want you to know that they are helping me. These are call to action, but I've already put into practice. And let's jump into today's wisdom. I will put the book that I am reading out of in the description below. And it is a great book. I have the title right here. But before I give you the title, it is Wisdom number 176. And here it is. It's called Either Know or Listen to Someone Who Doesn't. You can find that in the book by Dan Sullivan. And it's 10x is easier than 2x. Let me start by reading the wisdom and then we'll break it down. And I know I can't hear you, but then we will discuss it. There is no living without understanding, either one's own or borrowed. But many live in ignorance and do not know that they do not know. There is no cure for such lack of wit. For as they do not know, they do not seek what they lack. Many would be wise if they did not think themselves so. Thus, it is that thought, the idle of insight are rare. There is no lack of teachers. To be unable to give advice is a great misfortune, but to the unable to take it is a greater one. It is best to have a good head. If not, the next best is to hear one. I love the way that is put, and I hope it kind of just opens up your mind. All these wisdom talks, it's like it either opens your mind to help you learn for yourself, or it puts somebody in your mind because you're well advanced in your gaining and putting to practice the wisdoms that you gain day in and day out. But either way, you're one or the other. But a sign that you're a person that likes to grow is that you're not scared of wisdom and you don't criticize where wisdom comes from. Ponder that for just a little bit, right? And so here we go. I'm going to just read like a little simpler way to understand what I just read. Either way, I will copy and paste it in the description below so you can read it a lot slower and see what it says to you. See where it shifts your mind to and put it in the comments. Let me know how this caused you to question yourself, or maybe it made something about yourself concrete as well. And you can't get through life. Here we go. You can't get through life without being smart, but you have two ways to do it. Here we go. Another hard pill. Use your own brain or borrow someone else's. We pride ourselves on being intelligent and not wanting to learn from no one. And yet that, my friend, if you really looked at it at a very plain way, it's a very lonely way to live. When we're learning from others, whether because we need it or not, that means we're surrounded in discussion and debate, and we're willing to take advice, we're willing to give advice. All of those things are good. And just let me reemphasize the title for today, Either Know or Listen to Someone Who Does. And so the biggest mistake that you can make is being clueless and stubborn, right? At the same time, some people don't know the answer, but they're too proud to ask for help. Is that me? Is that you? At some point, it was all of us. The point is not to be stuck there forever. And they think they're already geniuses. So they never lean on anything. new or on anyone. All of us have been there. Do not get stuck there, right? And so here's some rules to live by when we're thinking about this idea. It's bad if you can't come up with a good idea. It's worse if you refuse to listen to good ideas from someone else. And so the bottom line is this: if you don't have the skills yet, find a pro and listen to someone with more wisdom and listen to them. That's the smartest way that we can live. And what is the smartest way? Identify where your level is and find someone that's above your level, right? If I had to simplify it even a little bit more, a little bit shorter, what's your level? And find someone who is above that level and learn from them. And so here we go. If you aren't the smartest person in the room, you don't have to fail. You just have to listen. I'm going to stop and I'm going to just kind of highlight the word listen. That's hard for people that are driven or hiding, that they're maybe not as intellectual as those around the room. So they out-talk, out-charisma everyone else. And that, my friend, here's basic knowledge, interferes with them listening. And so the most dangerous person isn't the one who lacks knowledge, but the one who is too proud to borrow it from someone else. Take a moment right now. See if you can identify 1 to 3 people that you learn from, that you can kind of humble yourself and say they're a lot wiser, they have more experience and more knowledge in whatever area. Write their names down and you're already a step closer to not being hurt by whether you need to learn or you know too much, wherever you find yourself. But can you identify people? Are you someone, right? Because the most dangerous thing is someone who's too proud to borrow knowledge from someone else. Is that you, right? And the question is that me? And for me, I have people in my life who I seek advice, who I give them the last word. I don't have to one-up them with their story, don't have to one-up them with my advice. That's also a good indicator that there is people that you look up to, that you let them have the last word. A lot of us can't do that. I don't know why. It's very difficult. And so it's like back and forth like pickleball, and it's just nonsense, right? And so let's be a little more respectful whenever you're sitting across or you're listening to someone who is a little more intellectual, more wise than one's self. I'm going to give you these 3 ideas around this talk today. The intelligence requirement. You cannot navigate life successfully without a map. You can't go on a road trip, go somewhere without a map. Either one that you drew, right, from your life experience, or someone maybe has already drawn the plan out. It helps you jump ahead. Again, I'm saying the same thing. I'm just rephrasing it because some of us learn in different ways. So sometimes one thing clicks right now, and that's what you're going to take. And as you hear the episode again, you'll catch the second and third thing that's necessary for this talk about this topic can kind of sink in and get you unstuck, because we just might be stuck, but we're very comfortable there. And so we don't realize it. And so the blind spot trap, the being stuck trap, right? The greatest barrier to wisdom is the illusion that you already possess it. How confident are you in what you know? Confidence can blind you to the reality of what you know. And obviously, the things that we know and how we move have progressed us to where we are and can sustain us for a very long time. As long as we surround ourselves with people that need to learn to get to our level, then that makes us feel superior. But how about the people above looking down? there is where the room is to grow. And so don't get stuck. The blind spot is the greatest barrier to wisdom is the illusion that you already possess it. And so, yeah, the levels of competence, right? Having a good head is the gold standard. Having a good ear is the silver standard that saves your neck. Draw that in your head and understand it. But yeah, just continue. And so let's go a little bit, just a little bit deeper on all these ideas. And so the paradox of ignorance, Grayson, one of the authors of this book, notes that those who lack wit usually lack the awareness to seek it. It's a closed loop where you don't know what you don't know, making you unteachable. That's the paradox in what we're talking about, is that you're causing yourself to be stuck. It isn't someone else, it's you. It's having to look in the mirror. And I use the mirror reference a lot in our talks because sometimes you have to face yourself in order to outgrow where you find yourself. But it requires honesty whenever you're talking and examining and kind of measuring where you're at. Now, if the only way you measure is what people tell you, with the people that you pay, the people that work for you, the people that maybe come to you for wisdom, which is great. Congratulations to you and everyone who benefits from that. But that's enough fuel to make you more ignorant that maybe you need to find yourself a little more teachable. And so wisdom doesn't have to be original to be effective. Hiring a consultant, an expert, isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strategic move that we must acquire, right? That you and me can use to build ourselves. Sometimes when we look for help, we think it's because we're weak or it's going to make us look dumber or whatever word you want to use in that place. That's not true. How about you look at it as a way that you want to level up because you're hiring someone who has a different point of view, a different way of learning and translating what they learned, and they can give it to you. And from there, sky's the limit. What's next, right? Continue to grow in wisdom. Here is some uses for what we're talking about today. I like to give sometimes like a work and then an interaction, a social aspect, and then maybe something personal. And so if you're a founder who hates math, don't try to guess your taxes. That'll get you in trouble. We all know that. Hire a CFO and follow their lead exactly. Follow their wisdom exactly. And that is where we have to learn, is where do I lack and who's an expert? Can I hire them? Can they advise me? Or whatever it is. And that is how this wisdom, here's what it's supposed to open you up to. And so and here's another one, when entering a new culture or subculture, stop talking and observe the locals to learn the unwritten rules before you speak. We walk into new situations, new rooms, new neighborhoods, new people, and we're like, look at me, and I'm this, and I'm that, and and no, there's a way that things get done. And even learning while observing means that this is sinking in and is kind of getting you unstuck. And here is saying, just learn a little bit. Unwritten rules is learning if it's going to help you progress in life or where you find yourself socially. And on a personal note, instead of trying every fad diet or whatever is like popular on social media, find one person who has maintained that trend, whether it be a diet, a fitness plan for 10, 15 plus years, and then replicate their routine, because that is already proven. And it also shows you that you can identify someone who not only says something, but has experience in it and has put it to practice for a long time. That is you saying, I can learn outside of myself. I don't know everything. And that is another way that this wisdom can help you grow. Don't forget, you're listening to Timeless Wisdom, Modern Mind, and I am your host, Sam Esquivel. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Share with me what you have learned, right? And just leave us a comment or send us an email. And we thank y'all so much. Let me continue. Let me give you about 3 quotes or 2 quotes around this idea that we're talking about today. This is for your brain to take in and say, when you think about this quote or use this quote, then you start thinking about the whole talk, and you'll see the benefit of that. So here we go. Don't be a closed book in a library of experts. Boom. Quote, here goes. Quote number 2. And I might put these in the description if I remember when I'm editing. Wisdom is the only thing that you can steal legally. One more. Quote number 3 to help us remember this talk. Better a student of the wise than a master of foolish. And let's continue. Identify the 3 biggest decisions that you're facing. Write them down. Who's the most qualified person you know for each one of them? This is like an expert audit. This is an audit of yourself. Biggest problems, and who do you know who can resolve them? And that's already saying, yes, this wisdom talk is what I needed, and that's the action required. To tell yourself that you do need to kind of grow a little bit. And the next one, we'll label it the silent meeting. In your next meeting or talk or whatever, comment to ask 3. Commit to asking 3 how or why questions before making a single I think statement. Let me read that one again. The silent meeting. In your next meeting, commit to asking 3 how or why questions before making a single I think statement. That'd be difficult. Almost impossible for so many of us, and that is who I am talking to. And sometimes we all need an ego check. So ask yourself, am I resisting this or advice or whatever because it's wrong or because I didn't think about it first? That's just an ego check. You're resisting advice, not because it's wrong or right, but because you didn't think of it. It's time to grow, my people. That's what wisdom's about. That's what this podcast is about. I constantly seek a way to grow, and it usually comes through knowledge. Yes, a lot of it comes through failures. A lot of it comes through just physical experiences of, doing things. But wisdom, learning, and reading, all that it all works. And here we go. We always like to give a biblical text that kind of connects to what we're talking about. And so here's the one I got for today. Don't forget, this isn't a theological class or anything, but this is meant for you to say, I liked what he said. It makes sense, but I want to go make more sense of it for my own self. Go do that and share whatever wisdom that comes from it with me as well. And so for that, let's open or go to Proverbs 12:15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. And so this aligns with the concept of the body of Christ, that no single part is the whole. We are all designed to be interdependent. Humanity is the predecessor for grace and wisdom, right? And with wisdom and growth and being intelligent and smart, guess what? It doesn't happen alone. Whether you can face that you need it from an outside source right now, everything that you've learned up to now, all the way from when you started school and everything from your parents, your friends, that was outside knowledge that you weren't asking for. It was given to you, and we were so used to that. Now it's time to go and seek it, right? It's next level type things. And so here's some other things. King Rehoboam, Solomon's son, he initially sought the counsel of wise elders who served his father, right? But here's where he messed up. He rejected their seasoned wisdom and instead listened to his young, arrogant friends who told him to be a tyrant. And here's what ended up happening. A civil war broke out and he lost 10 of the 12 tribes of Israel. He had borrowed wisdom available, but chose borrowed foolishness instead. Borrowed wisdom, borrowed foolishness. That is your choice today. And it's up to you. You never know where it's going to lead. And so I hope that you enjoyed today's talk. Thank you for tuning in again to Timeless Wisdom Modern Mind. Today's topic was either know or listen to someone who knows. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe. And if you have it in you to show a little support and help us grow what we're doing, share it with someone. If not, we'll be here next time that you come back. We'll have a new episode uploaded, and then we'll just keep growing like this. To add to this episode, I wanted to read a story to re-emphasize what we talked about today. And so, here it goes. In the high altitude kingdom of Oak Haven, the survival of the village depended on the Great Dam. Every 50 years, the glacier melt would swell and the dam's ancient gears had to be adjusted perfectly or the valley would flood. Two brothers, Kyle and Cyrus, were tasked with this job. Kyle was the elder, and he had spent his life reading maps and studying the stars. When they reached the dam's massive bronze control room, Kyle looked at the complex series of levers and pulleys. He realized within seconds, I don't know how this works. We have to go back, Kyle said. Old man Thorne, the retired keeper, is still alive. He's blind, but he knows the clicks of these gears by heart. We need his ears. Cyrus laughed. Go back and admit that we were incompetent? I'm the strongest man in the valley. I can see the levers right there. I'll figure it out. Kyle begged him to wait, but Cyrus was convinced of his own wit. He believed that because he was the leader, that he must already know the answer. He began pulling levers at random, mistaking movement for progress. Kyle didn't waste time arguing with a man who thought that he was a genius. He sprinted back down the mountain. He found Thor and carried the old man on his back up the steep trail. When they returned, the dam was growling. Cyrus was red-faced, tugging at a chain that was about to snap. Step away, Thor commented. His voice was thin but steady. Cyrus snared. What can a blind man tell me that I can't see with my own eyes? You see the metal, Thor replied, but I understand the weight. Kyle forced Cyrus aside and placed Thor's hand on the vibrating stone wall. The old man listened to the rush of water. Turn the third dial left until it whistles, Thor whispered. Then release the tension on the center chain. Kyle followed the instructions exactly. He didn't understand why it worked, but he understood that Thor did. Within minutes, the growling stopped, the water receded, and the valley was safe. That night, the village toasted the brothers. Cyrus boasted about how hard he had worked to move the heavy gears, but Kyle sat quietly by the old man Thor. Kyle had learned the ultimate secret. He didn't need to be the keeper of the gears to save the world. He just had to be humble enough to carry the man who was. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Timeless Wisdom, Modern Mind. Please subscribe and share and leave a comment, and we'll see you on the next one.